Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel. So if this is your first time of coming to my channel, please subscribe. To my returning viewers and my subscribers, thank you. So in today's tutorial we shall be learning how to make an overbust corset, okay, as you can see on the thumbnail, with a scoop neckline. Okay, so it's actually trendy. Here's the starting line. So from the shoulder I have my chest line, which is bust divided by 6 plus 1.5 plus another 1 inch for shoulder slope. I have my bust point, under bust, half length, corset top length, and then from my waist to my hip. Okay, so the next thing I did was to mark my neck width, which is 3 inches, the neck depth 3 inches. This is the front pattern, and then I marked the half of the shoulder measurement. I also marked it on the chest line to have a perfect straight line. I came down by 1.5 inch for my shoulder slope, and then I connected my armhole. On the bust point line, I'm going to label it. This is my chest line, the bust point, the under bust, the half length, the top length, and then the hip line. So on the bust point line, I'm going to mark half of my bust pad measurement, which is the nipple to nipple divided by 2. So for me it's 8. I'm going to mark it like so. On the under bust, I am also going to mark half of the bust pad measurement like so. Now those measurements I marked here, I'm going to stop at the under bust. Okay, I will not extend it all the way to the hem. Now the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to have a lot of markings here and start cleaning it by the time we start doing our alterations. So I'm just going to end it here. So now on the shoulder, I'm going to get the midpoint of the shoulder. Here I have 4.75. So what I'm going to do is just place it this way and divide it into 2 equal halves. And this is what I have. And I'll connect it to the bust point. So now this is a simplified method to draft this over bust corset. There are so many techniques out there, but this works perfectly well and it is very easy to follow. So the next thing I'm going to do is to connect my neck line, which is the scoop neckline. So now you can decide to measure your bust radius. Here I have 3.5, and up here I have this is where my 3.5 inch is, but I'm not going to make use of it. Okay, this is a scoop neckline, but the only thing is that it guides you to know how much your cleavage is going to show. So if you don't want a lot of cleavage, but there's no way with this scoop neckline, there's no way you want to reveal to an extent. So this is where the 3.5 inch mark is, which is here. So for me to draft my scoop neckline, I'm going to use this midpoint of the armhole, or you can decide to come down here by 3 inches from the shoulder. Here I have 3.5, so you can come down by 3 inches and then connect depending on how pointy you want it to be. Okay, so for me I'm going to make use of the midpoint, and then on the neckline here, your neck depth, how much you want to reveal on your center front, the cleavage also depends on you. If you don't want to reveal much, you can use the chest line, or you can go up, or you can come down. It depends on your preference. So for me, I am going to maintain the chest line because I don't want anything that is revealing, okay, or that reveals much. So I'll maintain the chest line like so, and then I'll draft out my scoop neckline. So the next thing I'm going to do is to do my overbust contouring. So you can use half an inch on both sides. It depends on the size you are working with. For me, I'm bust 40, so I can decide to use half an inch on both sides. It works well. I can decide to use 0.75 inch on both sides, which is exactly what I'll be using. So here I'm following the neckline that we marked out. I'm going to use 0.75 inch, which is here, and then on this other part I also marked 0.75 inch. So automatically what I'm using is 1.5 inch for my contouring. Okay, so I'll connect it to the bust point like so. Now for this, I'm not making use of what do we call it, the bust dart technique. You can make use of bust dart technique if you wish, but I am not using it. Okay, so if you've been in my class or if you've watched some of my videos, I always say that I don't use bust dart technique. So now, because I don't want this to get into the armhole, I am going to come out by half an inch. Okay, so now from this midpoint of my armhole, I came out by half inch to connect my armhole curve. and now I'm coming out by another half an inch from here. So totally what I'm going to come out is 1 inch. Okay, so I will still redraw this armhole that I have here, sorry, the scoop neckline that I have. I ought to have done that before connecting, so I don't have a lot of markings, but that is what I'm trying to avoid. I don't want too many markings here, so I'm going to extend this. Okay, let me remeasure 0.75. so that's what I'm trying to avoid. I don't want too many markings here, and then I'll connect like so. So I'm going to wipe off the initial one I do before. This is my bust measurements divided by 4. I have 10 inches here. So on these 10 inches, I'm going to go up by half an inch to connect my armhole. Now this is the half inch that I went up by, and this is also the half inch I came in by from the armhole. So I'm going to reconnect it like so. So this is because this is not going to have any sleeve. Okay, so it's just important that you do this. I'm still going to come back here because these parts and these parts are not equal, so I'm still going to come back here when I'm done drafting. So at the underbust, I am going to mark my underbust contouring. So for this, I am using one on this part. I am using 1.5 inch, and then on this side, which is towards the center front, I'm using 0.75 inch. Okay, so you can also use 0.75 inch on both sides, or you can make use of 0.5 inch here and then 1 inch here. It depends on you. So but for me, I'm going to use 0.75 here and then 1 inch on this part, and then I'm going to connect like so. I'll also highlight this after drawing out my curve for the armhole. I'm sorry, the underbust contouring that we just did. So I'm going to blend this in. So you have to blend it in so that it will match up, because this is looking too sharp. So I wipe off the original one I drew before because it's looking too sharp. I needed to blend it in. It doesn't affect anything. Okay, so this is what I have. I have highlighted it so that I will see clearly what we've done so far. So please, if you watch this video to this point, don't forget to subscribe. Now I am going to measure what I have here. So I have 2.25 as my dart intake here for my contouring. So I'm going to come to the hemline here. Now this is the hip, where the hip line is, but this is my corset top length. So what I'm going to do here is to mark 1 inch here, because I don't want my dart to be straight. If you want your dart to be straight, just go ahead and connect it in a straight line. Okay, but I don't want my dart to be straight. I want it to be slanted. So that's why I am using 1 inch here. You can also use 1.5. So this 1 inch means that if I open it up, because this is half of the front, by the time I open it up, it will become 2 inches. So, and I'm okay with it. So I'm going to connect like so. So now the essence of the hip line is for us to get the circumference of hair accurately. So everything we are doing stops at the top length. So I'm going to measure. I have measured what I have here, which is 2.25. I am going to bring it down here, 2.25. This is dart transfer. So I'm transferring my dart. I want my bony lines to be slanted, and then I'm going to connect like so. Feel free to ask any questions. So now I have transferred this and it's now looking slanted. On this dart leg, I am going to come out by 0.25, which is like here. Okay, and then I'm going to connect it this way. it is going to be curvy, please, not in a straight line. So you make sure that you connect it in a curvy way. I'm trying to get a perfect curve. Okay, this is nice. Like I said, I'll still highlight it and then I'll connect it to the hem. Now for this hem, I didn't take anything here. Okay, so I'll connect like so. Then on the other dart leg, which is here, I am going to come forward here, not this way. I'm coming in this way by 0.25 inch. Please, on this part you need to rewatch it. Feel free to ask questions. Then on the hem here, I am going outward this way by 0.25 inch. All these are for tightenings, and then I'm going to connect it like so. So this part you might need to rewatch it, and then I'll connect like so. I'll still highlight it so that you get to see what we've done. So let me highlight it. I have highlighted it, so this is what it is going to look like. So on this part, you can just blend this part in. Okay, so you don't have any form of sharp edge here. So the next thing I'm going to do is to mark my waist divided by 4, which is 8.5. Okay, I'm going to mark it here. Now remember, we've taken out from here, so I'm going to measure what I have here. I have the same 2.25. I'm going to return it back here. This is my 2.25. So now on this pattern, I've not done any form of waist cinching here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I want to cinch my waist by 2 inches on the front pattern. Okay, so instead of marking a complete 8.5 inch here plus my 2.5 inch, sorry, 2.25 inch dart intake, which is here, I am going to reduce this measurement, the waistline here. This is the waistline now. I'm going to reduce it by ½ an inch. So now this is half of the pattern. So I'll mark in from here. I'm going to come in here by ½ inch. I don't want to mark a lot of lines, so that's why I'm marking the original lines that I need. So this is where my measurement is going to be. So instead of having 8.5 here, which is my actual waist, and then my 2.25 inch dart, what I'm having here now is 1.75. I've reduced it by ½ an inch. My waist is what I reduced by ½ an inch, so which automatically means I've taken out 1 inch from my waist. On the hip line, I am going to mark my hip measurement divided by 4, which is 11 inches, which is here. Now this dart is applicable to here. No, that I didn't extend it to the hip line doesn't mean it's not applicable, because if I want to cut, I will still need it. So in order to complete it, I'm going to add back that 2.25 inch here. So add it back. It is part of your measurement. So I've added it back, and the next thing I'm going to do now is to connect. So this is the waist, which is like so, and then I'll connect to the hip line. Like so. Can you see what we have? Now that we've marked this, the next thing I'm going to do is to divide this into 2 equal halves. Okay, so whatever I have here, because I'm going to create another dart here. Remember, I want 2 inches waist cinching on the waistline. Okay, so I'm going to, and I've already taken out ½ an inch, so I need to take out another ½ an inch here to complete it 2 inches. So now this is half of it. I'm going to connect in a straight line like so. You can also divide here. Whatever you have, I have 4.25, which is 2.25 here. I'm not dividing the hem, which is here. I won't divide that part. So I'm going to connect like so. So can you see? Then on this part, I'm going to take 0.25 inch on both sides. I'm still going to explain this waist cinching so that we will understand it better. So this is my 0.25-inch waist cinching. I want to erase this waistline so that we don't confuse ourselves. So that I'll connect like so. Now I've taken out 0.25-inch on both sides, so this automatically means half an inch. Remember, this is half of the front, so half an inch on this part of the pattern, and then half an inch on the other side is 1 inch. Okay, and then on the other side, which I took out half an inch, means I've also taken out half an inch on the other half of the front, so which completes it 2 inches. So I've automatically reduced my waist by 2 inches. Now I want to measure what I have on the waistline so that we'll know if we've taken out the 2 inches that we want for the front waist cinching. So here I have 2 inches from this dart leg to the center front. I have 2 inches, and then I'm going to move it to this second dart leg, which is from here to here. Okay, I'll take note of what I have here, and then I'll move it to the next dart leg, which is here. I have 7.5 inch. Okay, so that is what I have here. Now 7.5 inch, and my waist is 8.5. Can you see? I've taken out 1 inch from this half of the front. So now on the other half, I've also taken out half, which means I've taken out the 2 inches I need for my waist cinching. I've highlighted all the markings. As you can see, this is looking so beautiful. So the next thing we are going to do now is to through this dart here. Okay, so that by the time we sew, everything will just match up. So I went ahead and opened up the one of the dart legs, which is here. So that's why I said I don't use boss darts. So you can open up your dart anywhere and you through your darts. So I'm going to close up here. So I opened it up, and then I'll close up here like so. So just make sure that you match it up. Can you see what I have? So just make sure that you match it up, and then I'm going to remark or reblend it so that everything comes out perfectly well. So I've done that. Let me use my marker pen to highlight it. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Click on your notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload a new video. So this is a new neckline. Okay, I'm not using this one again because I've trued the dart, and then I'll open it up. Can you see what I have? So the next thing I'm going to do now is to cut out, but before I do that, I need to match up this dart here, because this is now our new. So I'll cut it out so that I can decide the style line I want for the hem. Okay, this is the center front, which I have cut out. So what I'm going to do now is to follow the curve that I have here on this other dart leg. I'll place it like so. I'm going to tape it down. Can you see? So everything must match up. Okay, if yours doesn't match up, that means there is an error. So I'm going to tape it down so that I can decide the style line I want for the hem. If you want to leave the hem straight, you can go ahead and do that. If you want it to have some stylish curves on the hem, it is at this point that you are going to do that. So now on this hem line for the center front, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. Okay, so just come down by 1 inch depending on what you want to do actually. So I'm coming down by 1 inch here, and then I'm going to create a curve. I'm using my freehand tool. Can you see what I have? Let me measure what I have here. So here I have, okay, let me just make it to be 1 inch. I don't want it to be too high, so I'm going to redraw. So how high you want here to be depends on you. Another thing you can do is that you can divide here into 2 equal halves. Okay, so here I have about 9.25, I'll share it into 2 equal halves like so. So this way I'll be able to connect like this. Can you see? And then I'll place the curve like this and connect like so. So I think this is the easiest way of doing this. So I'm going to highlight it. Please note that this center front, you are going to match it up. You are not going to leave it just this way. Can you see? And then the dart goes this way, just as following the same curve. Can you see? So this is what you are cutting out for the center front, and then this part continues for the other side of the panels. So before I cut out the hip, I want to explain something. Let's say you want to have an exaggerated hip, okay? So at this point, you can decide to add an exaggerated hip here. Like me, I want to add extra half an inch here, okay? So I'm just going to add extra half an inch like so. And then I'll connect. So this is an exaggerated hip, but it depends on what you want, how big you want the hip line to be, okay? And it also helps to give an hourglass shape, okay? So I'm just going to cut it out. To draft the back pattern, I have gone ahead and marked my measurements. So here I have my chest line, half length, the same half length I used for the front, the corset top length, neck depth of 1 inch, neck width of 3 inches, my shoulder measurement, and then I connected my armhole. From the mid armhole, I went in by half an inch. Okay, so now I'm not using any dart here. If you want, you can start putting in that. I am going to cinch my back by 1 inch because I'm still going to open up here. I don't want a lot of opening at the back. I want it to be kind of closed to an extent after lacing it. So what I'm going to do is, instead of marking 8.5 inch, which is my actual waist measurement, I'm going to cinch the waist by 1 inch on the back. On the front, I use 2 inches. So 2 inches on the front, 1 inch at the back, means I've taken out 3 inches from my waist measurement. So by the time I open up the back too, it also gives cinching. All right, so which is 8.5 that I'm sorry, 8 inches that I have marked here instead of 7.5 inch. So I'm going to connect it like so. Let me use my marker pen. So also, before I connect, remember we went up here by half an inch on the front pattern. So I'm going to repeat the same thing, half an inch. I've also marked my bust measurement, which is 10 inches. Okay, so on the 10 inches mark, I went up by half an inch. Okay, and then I'm going to reconnect my armhole. Now this is not necessary, especially for the fact that I am not using making mine to have a yoke, so I don't need to start reconnecting my armhole But if you're using a yoke, of course this is an advanced corset, so you should be able to do your alterations before you cut out, you mark out your, you trace out your yoke. On the hip line, I am going to mark my hip divided by 4, which is 11 inches. So I'll mark it like so. And then I'm going to connect with my pencil. So I'm going to connect it like so. So you can bring in the front pattern. Remember I added extra, so I'm going to bring it in, making sure that the waist on the front aligns with the waistline on the back. So make sure everything aligns, and then I'm going to trace out what I have here. So this is it. So the next thing I'm going to do is to connect like so. So on this center back, you can go up by half an inch, because I want to go up by half an inch. That's my preference. Okay, it's optional. So I'm just going to connect it like so. And this is what I have. So here, to alter the neck depth for the back, I am going to come down by 1 inch like so. Then if you, let's say you are making it for a plus size, you can go up by 1 inch or 1.5 inch, at most 2 inches, but I'll prefer 1 inch or 1.5 inch. So if you are going up by 1 inch or 1.5 inch here, let's say for a plus size that doesn't want their back to be so open, so you can just connect it this way. I don't know, you must have seen some corsets that the back is higher, so some people even go up as far as 2 inches to even 3 inches. So they don't want something that will reveal their back so much, especially for plus sizes. So they are going to make use of this, but for me, I'm making use of this particular one. So what I'm going to do now is to connect from here like so. And then on the waistline, I'm going to come in by 1 inch. And then here on the bust line, I'm going to come in, that is the chest line, I'll come in by 2 inches. So remember, I cinched the waist on the back by half an inch, which is 1 inch. On the side back, the front by 2 inches, which is 3 inches. And here I have opened up the waist also by 1 inch here on the center back, which means I've opened it up by 2 inches. So 2 plus 3 is 5 inches. It's okay by me. So this is what I have for the center back. Here is the final look of our patterns after cutting out. Okay, so please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, give this video a thumbs up, click on the notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload a new video. So in our next video, we are going to transfer this to fabric and then we sew it up. Don't forget to also share my videos. Okay, thank you for watching. See you in my next one. Bye.